bringing you Barely Watch podcast featuring Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, how are you feeling on this beautiful Wednesday?
I'm doing good, man. It's going to be cold, right? We're getting hit with a storm this weekend. It's going to
Yes,
be
sir.
crazy.
It's supposed
Hopefully,
to
the
be real
Bears give us a
snow.
win
Yes,
to
sir.
enjoy the whole weekend and the holiday and have a good time.
Yes, sir. As you get ready to kickstart this beautiful episode, Lester, just tell us a couple of things that you saw that were positives from the Steelers games. Because obviously, you know me, I like to listen to the haters. You guys beat the Steelers without Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't count. Just tell us what were some things that you saw that were beautiful out there.
No, I mean this Bears team is decimated by injuries, right?
Hmm.
They were missing their left tackle. They had to go to the rookie, who I thought played pretty good. Defense has, Amin Agbanbia is making plays. DeMarco Jackson's making 16 tackles. So yeah, I mean they adapted and they kind of went ahead and on defense, and it was rough early, right? You kind of thought, oh man, they're gonna run all over the Bears, and
Hmm.
Dennis Allen made some adjustments, kind of came out and made some moves, and yeah, I thought the defense kind of rallied, and then offensively, it's funny because you know they had 31 points, right?
Hmm.
And watching the game, you're like, man, the offense is just missing. Like Caleb's missing a few. Oh man, they left some plays on the field, but even Ben Johnson said when he was asked about it, about how do you assess Caleb in the offense? He's like, look, we scored 31 points.
Hmm.
That's a pretty good day. We'll adapt, we'll adjust, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I can't complain too much, man. Bears 8-3 in the playoff hunt, right there in the push, first place in the North still. So it's a good time to be a Bears fan.
Yes, sir. Now, Lester, tell us a little bit about what are some things that, excuse me, what are some reasons that it's working really well for the former practice squad player Nishan Wright, who's starting cornerback with Jalen Johnson being out?
I think part of it is just his confidence. I mean, getting a chance receiver skills in his past, so maybe he's got that going for him. But smart with when the ball's in the air, he knows how to attack it. Has become the receiver. So I just think he's playing good football. And look, he's probably going to be somewhere else next year, but good for him. He's pushing for a Pro Bowl spot. For those
Hmm.
5 picks, that means a lot.
Of course, of course. Now, obviously, too many bodies is usually a good thing to have. What do you see happening when we get Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson back? Do you take Deshaun Wright and put him where Tariq Stevenson was? Do you rotate these guys? What will it look like when we get all these guys healthy back?
Yeah, I didn't catch the injury report today, but yeah, Stevenson got banged up in the game against the Steelers.
It was a hip,
So
correct?
I think a hip. So maybe they just put right over there. I would imagine they would really bring Jalen Johnson back in slowly. I can't see them giving him the full 100% of the snaps on defense.
Hmm.
So I'd be fine with the rotation on defense, at least for a little while, to kind of figure things out. The same with Kylie Gordon. I mean, Kylie Gordon, yeah, he's a pretty damn good nickel, but make sure he's ready. Make sure his wind is there, his health is there, because CJ Gardner Johnson's playing good football too. But regardless, they'll figure out a way to play some dime against certain teams. The Steelers play a lot of big tight ends, so it wasn't a
Hmm.
good week then. But moving forward, they got some teams in the schedule that like to play a lot of 3 receiver sets, 4 receiver sets. So in those instances, play your dime package.
Yes, sir. Now, speaking of Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Lester, obviously their 21-day windows were activated. When could you see those guys creeping back into playing?
Sounds like, I mean, this week's on the table, right? I mean, they'll have to activate it by uh, tomorrow, Thursday, if they want to play
Hmm.
them on Friday. But yeah, it sounds like it's on the table. Every time they talk about it, they say, yeah, they're close, they're close, they're close. Well, they've been practicing in full. So
Hmm.
I would imagine, unless they take the 21 days all the way to the limit, like they did with the other players they had, there's a good chance we kind of get to see them today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Obviously, we got Tremaine Edmonds out on IR. We got TJ Edwards, who has not practiced. We got Noah Sewell still out with that elbow. When do you think we can see some of our starting linebackers start to trickle back in there as well?
Linebackers looks like it's not happening this week. They're still all not practicing,
Hmm.
but I would imagine that they're kind of be close. I
Hmm.
mean it's short week's hard, right? I mean because since they missed, if they're not really ready to go, they're going to kind of wait. If they don't play Friday, that gives them some extra rest, right? They call that the mini bye when they
Hmm.
play on Thursday. Same kind of concept. So I think we may see them start to trickle back to practice next week.
Do you, is Tremaine Edmonds eligible to come back after this week? Right,
Tremaine is eligible to come back. He has to be on IR at least 4 games. He'll be back. Can be back the first Packers game
all snaps, and that's
or the
obviously
second
not this
Packers
Sunday,
game.
but next Sunday.
Maybe the second. I forget. I got to look at the math again. I'm not sure, but I
Yes,
know
sir.
one of the Packers games he's due back for.
Yes, sir. Now, just tell us a little bit about some things offensively, Lester, on why it's working so well in Chicago and how they were able to just come in and flip from the bottom of the league to the top of the league because they're the top 10 in multiple categories this year.
Yeah, I mean the Ben Johnson effect is real.
Hmm.
He kind of came in, and it's funny because now Bears fans are starting to pull all the hater receipts right from Twitter from early on in the season when the Bears lost two.
Hmm.
Oh, Ben Johnson's a fraud. Ben Johnson, all this stuff. I'm starting to see it all over the timeline. Checking on this now. How's Ben Johnson look now? Right, everyone's going at people. So, yeah, to me, it's all about Ben Johnson. He came in here, he put his system in place, he's changed the culture of the team. Caleb's kind of taken to that. The offensive line has been phenomenal. I mean, I
Hmm.
can't. You can't say enough about how they changed this O line around in one off season. It's
Hmm.
just very very good looking front, even with the injuries to left tackle. Right, they're kind of figure out how to make it work. The running game has been sound, and like we said earlier, man, the passing game has kind of been inconsistent, right? But then you
Hmm.
look up at the scoreboard, and they're putting up points. Caleb's not, being pretty smart with the ball. Of course, he had the ridiculous sack that he would love to have back. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's inconsistent. But like you said, it's top 10 in almost every category.
Hmm.
So just imagine when things start clicking, how good this offense can be.
Of course, of course. Now, obviously, we know we're heading into Philly for the Black Friday game. What are some things that you see happening in our favor, Lester? Because like I said, I don't want to critique another team outside of the Bears, but Philadelphia Eagles have not been playing well their last couple of games. If you look at last week against the Cowboys, they had the Cowboys up 21-0. Saquon Barkley only had 22 rushing yards, I believe, and a pair of fumbles. Don't quote me. I'm a Bears fan. I watched their numbers. I think Jalen Hurts had a fumble as well too. Like when they played the Packers, they were only able to put up 10 points. They lost to the Giants. What are some things that will have to go right in order for the Bears to emerge victorious, Lester?
Yeah, Eagles are 8-3. Obviously, the class of the conference till otherwise. I mean, the defending champs. But I did an Eagles pod earlier this week, and the guy I was talking with, he was not very confident in this game. I figured he'd be all like, trash talking because Philly, right? Philly sports are very
Hmm.
boisterous. He was not confident in his Eagles. He said their O line has been hurt all year. They're not playing the same way they've used to. Their center, who's been kind of in there, is one of the worst centers in the league. They're
Hmm.
missing their starting right tackle, Lane Johnson. Defensively, he said their secondary has been injured all year. So like, I'm like, man, I'm getting confident now as a Bears fan. I mean, if this is a good game for Caleb to get things cooking, it might happen this week because he was telling me that the Eagles secondary has just been getting killed. They're
Hmm.
injured. Worked at middle of the field. Work Colston Loveland in the mix because he's been playing really good football. And then on defense, if the Bears can get after Jalen Hurts a little bit, put him off his spot, contain him so he's not getting yards in the ground. But what I thought was going to be I didn't think I would ever pick the Bears in this game leading up, but the more when talking to him, like man, there's a chance this could happen on Friday.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been realizing too. Like, I'm done not believing in the Bears like the past couple of years because obviously their form of play on offense, but it's like why not the Bears? The Bears are better
Yes.
than the Eagles offensively in so many categories.
Yep.
So why can't they go in there and win? A lot of people like to say, "Oh, they really haven't beat anyone X Y Z." All you can do is play who you have on your schedule. Another professional team. I don't care if they have injuries or not. The Bears have been decimated with injuries, like you said, and they have no problem with the next man up mentality. So why is it that other teams should not have the same mentality of next man up, right?
100%. I mean, I wonder if other teams say the same thing. Oh, if you can't lose to the Bears because you're missing all these players, and it's like Bears finding a way.
Yeah.
They got all those comeback wins. The Steelers game wasn't a comeback, but they still hung on and found a way to get that win. And
Hmm.
they played smart. They made plays when they had to. The defense came through when it had to. Big. Jaquan Bricker kind of jumped up and swatted that ball away. So it's a very opportunistic team, and it's been
Hmm.
all three faces stepping up.
Of course. Now, here's my one thing though is like obviously the Bears have been on a winning streak. I tell people this all the time. They say, "Oh, I can't wait till you guys lose the game." Hey, you can't win them all. I said the
Yeah.
same thing about the Baltimore game because at that point they would have won 5 in a row, and that's a pretty tall order to just keep on winning, and everything just go perfectly, and if they were to lose to the Eagles, I mean, it's a loss, yeah, but you can't go out there and just win them all. I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, 8-3. Who would have thought they'd be in this position? I mean,
Mhm.
the Ravens game is one they probably would love to go back and look at the film and realize how many mistakes they made in there. But like I said, you can't win them all. That's a very well coached team. They were coming off a bye, right? And with Harbaugh, he rarely loses off bye, so they were well prepared and they took it to the Bears. So, but since then, 4-4 in a row. So like I said, it's look the Bears in the NFC. Most people thought the NFC would not be very strong, but it's
Mhm.
strong. Like there's a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
really good teams there. You look like the Lions. They're 7-4 and outside the playoffs. They
Yeah.
might not make it. So
And the
l-
Vikings still are not out of contentions just yet either. A lot of people sleep on that. The fact they can still turn it around. You just never know. Any given Sunday, there's still a lot of football left to play. Sorry to cut you off, sir.
no, perfect. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, there's a lot of football left, and like look. Of course, I'm rooting for the Bears. I want to see them make the playoffs, but there's no guarantee. I mean, right
Mhm.
now, like if you look at the NFL.com, the playoff probability,
Like
you,
64%.
even though the Bears are first place and in the 3 seed, they have the worst probability of all the playoff teams. So
Hmm.
I would not be surprised if they didn't make it.
Yeah.
Just because it's a tough schedule down the stretch. But man, this team's in a good place right now for the future.
Yes, sir. Now, humor me this, Lester. You know me. I like to feed into the negativity sometimes. But if the Bears were to win on Friday,
Oh
what
man,
would the excuse be at that point?
it can't be no excuses this week. I mean, that's the Super Bowl champs, right? You're
Hmm.
going into their house. If the Bears pull off this win, that'll be the biggest win of the season for them.
Yeah.
And man, it'll do a lot. Again, each week the narrative's shifting, right? Knock off Philly, forget about it. I mean, Bears
Yeah.
fans are gonna lose their minds on that one.
I I was just about to say that because it's like before we even played Minnesota, Packers fans and haters, your next couple games are gonna tell me a lot, especially
Yeah,
Minnesota. We go and beat Minnesota. No, 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 no. That one doesn't count.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The next couple games are gonna tell me we beat the Steelers. No, 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 no. That one doesn't count because you guys lost without. The next couple games are. It's like, okay, why does it always have to change? You
yeah.
say
They
this
keep
is gonna tell
moving the
you a lot.
goalposts, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like the goalpost always gets to move. But I will say this, Lester: if the Bears were to win on Friday, I'm gonna be acting a fool. I have my skit ready to address all of the Packers haters and all that as well too, because I'm so sick and tired of the Bears slander.
yeah. It's look, NFL is better when the Bears are good. I know a lot
Mm,
of Bears fans have not seen that. That had not happened in a long time. But I'm telling you, 80s or early 90s when the Bears were good, man. The NFL was like loving it because it's Chicago. Even when the Bears suck, the Bears are like one of the top draws in the league. Can you imagine if the
mhm.
Bears are clicking, the Bears are good?
That would
Forget
be
about it.
crazy,
It's
right?
gonna be it's gonna be fun.
Yes, sir. That offensive line, Lester, has been looking really tremendous as well too. What do you think was the shift that made them change it around just like that? Obviously, giving up 68 sacks last year to what 11, 12, if that much. My numbers could be off.
I mean, I guess look, Ryan Poles has always tried to make moves there. Just some of the moves he made didn't work out.
Hmm.
And then he, of course, when you bring Ben Johnson, who's an offensive guy, first thing he said, fix trenches, right? So I'm sure that there was a conversation had when he was coming in, and it just so happened that Joe Thuney was available like for a late round pick. Jonah Jackson was available for a late round pick. Drew Dahlman, the best center in the market, who was a free agent at the time. So like, yeah, man, right now we have an easy way to kind of make a quick fix here. And then Darnell Wright's always been, at the cusp of a Pro Bowl, and he's playing at a really high level. The only issue was left tackle, and they flirted with Braxton Jones, hoping he can kind of get back in time. It didn't happen. Back on IR. Theo Benedict came out of nowhere, and now you got Ozzie. Looks like he may keep that job for at least one more week. So, look, if you only have to work around one O line weakness, a good coach can figure that out. And I think that's what we're seeing Ben Johnson do. He's giving some help to Ozzie. He gives some
Hmm.
help to Benedict. But as a pass blocker, Ozzie's probably better than Benedict. Okay,
Hmm.
as a run blocker at this point, Benedict's a little better. I, I just see at this point, way the offense is, way the league is, I think you go with your better pass blocker, which at this point is Ozzie.
Of course. I just find it really, really refreshing, Lester, to actually have an offense that you cheer for. With the end arounds. Like I sent you that via text
Yeah,
message. That was
yeah,
like one of the most beautiful plays, like to see Luther Burden take it from like OZ and then just run it upfield for a first down. We're not used to seeing positive plays like that where it makes you jump out your seat and say, "This is our offense."
yeah.
As
It's
we get ready to
fun.
go ahead, go ahead, go
No,
ahead, go
no,
ahead.
I'm right with you, man. I mean, Ben Johnson. The thing is he's not doing these plays just for the hell of it, right? With
Uh-huh.
Matt Nagy, he would just pull something out just for the heck of it. Oh, I want to try this, and it had nothing to do with the rest of the offense. You watch Ben Johnson stuff like that end around stuff. I guarantee you, he has a play off it. He has a fake off it. He has a play action off it. He has something off it where something else will happen. So
Mhm.
everything Ben Johnson does has a reason.
Of course, of course. As we get ready to close out this phenomenal episode, there's just two quick questions that I have for you, and we'll let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Now, with Caleb and Rome both under rookie contract, so you have a little while before you pay them, do you throw money at the left tackle position? Do you throw money to maybe go in all in for a Max Crosby type player? Or what's the situation there, Lester? What do you do while you still have those guys under rookie contracts?
Yeah, left tackle is interesting. I think they're going to give Trapillo every chance to kind of show he could be the guy.
Hmm.
Again, it's also possible that in the offseason they flip Trapillo and Wright just to kind of, if Wright's a little more athletic, maybe he's more comfortable making the switch, and Ozzy, is more comfortable staying at right side. But these next few weeks will say a lot. But yeah, I mean, you do have some options here. But look, they're kind of up and against the cap though. They have a lot of money put on defense, so they don't have as much room as we think. They can make
Hmm.
some moves in the offseason. There's a couple guys they can cut, but Brisker's due some paper. I mean, are you going to re-sign Brisker at this time?
I
Um,
think
you
so.
know,
He stayed up all year this year, made
yeah,
some very
right.
big
So,
plays. I think so.
I would not be surprised. If anything, I think they may make a move for a tailback just because Swift's coming out.
Hmm.
They have Manon guy, I think, who's going to be, he's fine, but I think you want another guy with him. So they'll make some moves, but I just think at this point it's in Ben Johnson they trust, right? They trust he'll make the most
Hmm.
out of the town on offense. Dennis Allen's not going anywhere. I mean, he's already had a couple head coach gigs. He hasn't worked out. I think Dennis Allen's your defense coordinator for the next several years. So you trust those two coaches to get it all done. I think you just keep drafting and developing talent because like we talked about at the top, man, these guys that no one thought of would kind of come through. Nashawn Wright, DeMarco Jackson, these guys are kind of stepping up. Nick McLeod had a rough year, but every now and then he kind of comes and makes a play, another young player. So you'll find these guys, and then as you start getting you guys healthier back, it'll all start clicking.
Yes, sir. Now, as we get ready to close out, last question. Go ahead and tell us the final score, Lester. Who you see taking this game?
Like I said, man, I was all ready to go Eagles, right? Eagles going to win this,
Uh-huh.
but then, man, talking to the dude on the Eagles podcast, he just does not seem confident in Eagles at all. There's some weird locker room stuff going on there with Jalen Hurts, with AJ Brown.
Hmm.
It's like there's some like if it almost feels like the Eagles are at that point where they're ready to tip. Like if something bad happens, I can see them having a big time locker room explosion, something going on there. So why not the Bears, man? Why not the Bears push them over the edge and kick them down the cliff, right? So
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go Bears.
Yes, sir. By how much?
24, 24,
20.
21. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it here first on Barely Watch Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker. That was Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, we greatly appreciate you having some time for us, sir.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, sir.